Welcome to the Real Boardloft. I'm Trip Forman, and this is the Vernor Tree Hugger. We've been surfing this thing a bunch over the last 6 weeks here in Cape Hatteras and have some great things to say about this board, so let's get right into the review. The Tree Hugger is Vernor's mid-length and his entry into the mid-length market, and this board has a lot of solid heritage to it in that the rocker of this board and the bottom shape of this board was derived from the Vernor Mini Simmons. And for those of you that know the Mini Simmons, you know the Mini Simmons. And for those of you that don't know the Mini Simmons, it's the board that put David Vernor on the map. He makes a lot of other good boards as well, but his Vernor Mini Simmons is absolutely legendary. And the big thing about the Mini Simmons is just the belly that the board has in the bottom, the roll from rail to rail, the rail shape, the rocker, everything on that board is speed oriented and basically edgeless in that the board is really easy to roll from turn to turn and also really easy to generate speed with. And so David, in making the Tree Hugger, put that same rocker and put that same Mini Simmons bottom and rail on this board prior to even doing the outline on the board. So it has a Mini Simmons bottom, a Mini Simmons rocker, a standard traditional mid-length outline, and then if you look at the fin configuration, it has a single box down the middle and then a quad setup on the outside. So people are typically calling this a 4+1. The 4+1 allows you to ride this board as either a dedicated single, you can ride it as a 2+1, which we did. You could also ride it as a quad. And so the fin that I have in here right now, this is the Jerry Lopez 7 3/4 or 7.75 from Future Fins. And this is what I was using the entire time as a single fin. For the 2+1, so a smaller single fin with side bites, I was using the Lost Evil Twin single fin, which is a 6 1/4, 6.5 back fin, and then I was using the SB1 fiberglass side bites in the front, right here in these boxes. And then for the quads, I was using the Roberts Generation quads up here, and then the 4-inch quad trailers in the back, and those are all from Futures. So the dimensions on this board are 7.2 by 21 5/8 by 3 1/4, and it's a 53.2 liters. This is a little bit bigger than a stock 7.2, or a little bit more volume than a stock 7.2. This is the board that I was riding. If I was to just grab one off the rack, full stock dimensions at my weight, I would probably grab the 7.6. So talking about this board, the very first thing that I'll definitely say about this board is it's very easy to surf and very easy to catch waves on. Some of the mid-lengths have a lot of width and thickness under your chest, but they taper off quite a bit and they don't have a lot of tail width or a lot of tail thickness. This board has both. It's got a really generous tail width and it's also a decent amount of thickness through the tail. And so this board is a paddling and wave catching machine. Basically any wave that you look at, you can catch on this board. So as far as like upping your wave count, or if you have a problem catching waves, or the waves like where you are just kind of really slopey and hard to get into, this board hunts down and basically catches everything. So it just really raises your wave count quite a bit. The next thing that I'll say about it is even like looking at the deck and looking how much we surfed this board, there still aren't even really like marked heel dents in it anywhere. Vernor's hold up. I mean, we have people that will surf a Mini Simmons for 4 hard years and trade it in literally because they want another color, not because the board's wearing out. And then when they take the wax off of it, the thing looks brand new. David's construction, among like the custom constructions that we sell, is one of the most durable, if not the most durable, as far as the longevity of the board. I mean, yes, if I take it and swing it into the trailer hitch of my car, I'm gonna ding it. But as far as like normal surfing use, like this construction holds up leaps and bounds better than a lot of constructions out there. And so if you're really hard on your equipment, heavy on, on your heels, this is a board that you should definitely take a look at. It starts out with 2-pound density Marco foam, and then it's also epoxy resin, high-end fiberglass cloths, resin research, ultra clear epoxy resin, You can see there's carbon reinforcements. This one, he does them stringered and stringerless. This board is stringerless. Then it'll have a carbon reinforcement on the deck and the bottom in place of the stringer. So the durability on them is really, really good as far as like the longevity of the product. Also, David puts in what's called I-beam construction on the board, and this is basically, there's carbon strips on the top, and there's also battens routed down into the blank to tie that center fin box and the front quads into the torsional flex of the board, just to make the board a little bit more lively and store a little bit more energy and release it coming out of the turns. And so a lot of things going on there with that as well. So we talked about the wave catching, we talked about the durability. The other thing that I would say is just the general, overall ease of use and the range of this board. So when I started surfing this board, I would still have a longboard in my car and I would still have a shortboard in my car, but the more I rode it, the more it kind of started eating into both of those. From the shortboard side, obviously it's just going to catch more waves. Like you give up a lot of the turning compared to a shortboard, but you also get a whole lot more waves and, great positioning on the wave, getting a lot more barrels than you would on a shortboard just because you're in the wave early and can set up for it. The longboard side of it, it just started eating away at the longboard side just because of how easy the board catches waves and gets into waves early. So I was able to ride super small waves, like, riding the thing leashless a lot on days that I would have been riding a longboard, and then taking it out just for the heck of it and seeing how you could push it in the bigger surf was also super fun. Wave range-wise, it's going to go anywhere from, barely surfable to overhead surf and work well. So from looking at this board, who's this board going to be good for? I mean, obviously anybody that has a mini Simmons and is interested in a mid-length should, obviously this is a no-brainer. Just go ahead and get the board. You're going to love it because it's got that same feel that the mini Simmons does under your feet and the same ability to generate really good speed down the line. If you're looking at a single fin mid-length and you're like, I'm not really sure if I can commit to single fin, I'm not sure I'm a single fin guy, this would also be a good choice because it gives you the ability to mix it up a little bit and do that 2+1 or the quad if you're not sure about a single fin, because some of the boards are just single fin and you have to commit to it. So if you want options, that is also a good one. Good reason to look at this board. And then the last reason would be just, in some of the other reviews we talked about, just because it's called a mid-length doesn't mean they all surf the same. This board, has the trimming capabilities, it has the glide, and that both comes from the mini Simmons bottom, like the ability to trim high, to glide through the water and continue to go fast rather than speed just kind of dying away. And that comes from the mini Simmons bottom and the mini Simmons rocker, and this board has that. So if you're looking for a mid-length that catches a lot of waves, that has that trim, that has that like kind of loose, edgeless kind of feel to it, rail to rail, this would also be a good one to look at and to put on the list of your mid-lengths that you're checking out. So it's the Vernor Tree Hugger. We're stocking this board in lengths 6'8" up to 8'0". And they all come with this fin setup and then a combination of either stringered or stringerless construction. And all the boards that we carry from Vernor, all of them, the mini Simmons Wild Thing and the Tree Huggers are always his highest end construction with that Marco foam, the resin research epoxy resin, and the I-beam system running through the fin setup. So any other questions on the Vernor Tree Hugger, or if you'd like to place an order, either stock or custom, you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or you can look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.